Hello and welcome to GEOSCOPE on Labour Social at the unusual time of 7:40, but that's only because we decided to move it to 7:30, literally 10 minutes ago. But we're here now, and that's what matters. And we're not going to have as many people watching because I didn't trail this. So to those of you who are watching this live, hello. Please leave a little note in the chat. You've got to subscribe to leave a note in the chat. But we'll be glad to hear from you. And we're going to dive straight in there. First of all, I want to talk about MAGA's problems this week because we have three of them. We've had Marjorie Taylor Green, or Moscow Marge, basically going down in flames in the
definitely
House
Moscow
of
Marge.
Representatives. What are you doing? We
I'm
can see you, Ollie. What?
I'm just turning you up, that's all.
Oh, he's turning me up. Phil's had terrible trouble with his mic this week. His mic keeps turning down the level of it, and it's so annoying. And Phil's getting very frustrated with it. He's blaming Windows.
Oh, he needs to get a new mic. Needs to get a new mic.
So we also had Keri Lake, the Arizona wannabe senator, who failed in, or was it governor? What did she go for? She failed anyway. She lost her election, and she's been doing like hundreds of court cases to try and overturn the results of the 2020 election and take everyone to court.
She's one of those then. Yeah.
Her latest one has been backheeled by none other than the Supreme Court. The very Trumpian Supreme Court, where 6 of the judges are ultra conservatives, have said, no, we're not listening to your mad lunacy about voting machines, which is what she's been going on more recently. And then finally, there's Trump, because he's in the dock with 12 seated jurors and 6 alternates who all probably don't like him.
Yeah, struggling to stay awake as well.
Struggling to stay awake. Yeah. So let's talk about that. And also, thank you very much to Tommy for being here, and for Emma Price, saying evening, everyone. Liam there as well, complaining about Phil's sound. I hope our sound is okay tonight. Very colourful, Oliver. We're getting that. Ollie, you're very colourful tonight. We can put our names up. All right, this is Ollie Bowler Hat Man. There you go, Bowler Hat Man. And
apparently, this is some sort of, I don't know, Chinatown street.
Yeah, it's nice. I like
that's chosen today.
I like it. And smash that like button so hard your phone breaks, says Michael. Don't break your phone. And Sarah says, good evening, everyone. Hi, Sarah. How you doing? And Don Oliver saying, Graham is doing a secret stream. Just like behind the trees at Glastonbury. Anyway, so go on. Let's talk about the MAGA's woes this week. Where do you want to start?
Yeah, should we start briefly cover the Trump stuff? Because obviously this is the trial that is just starting, and this is the hush money
trial
case.
Of the century.
It really is. I'm interested to see what stuff comes out, and it just all sort of kicked off yesterday, I believe. So it was all sort of opening statements yesterday. So we didn't really learn anything too new from this stuff yet. But I think, honestly, as the trial and this stuff goes along, I think there's going to be more and more stuff come out. And oh boy, could this be fun? This could be very fun. Yeah,
I'm so far the last 2 days we've had to finish early because of Passover, and so it's been quite a curtailed days in court. So last week was all about choosing the jury, pretty much, and then the last 2 days have been the testimony of a guy called Pecker, who was the editor of the National Enquirer at the time. And
National Enquirer. Ooh.
Yeah, he's the guy who did these catch and kill. So it looks like I've got mosquitoes all around my head. I'm just trying to adjust my my settings for my. This is going to go a bit weird for a moment, but there you go. There's my green screen. People accuse me of living the life of Riley in this kind of weird what's it called, warehouse bedsit thing. But it's not real. It's just Hollywood.
This is it. You need to get a new background. Change it up every week.
Yeah, I think I might run it. If I ran, I keep disappearing. I'm disappearing now. Come on, get your tech right. I would have had this all set up if I'd known we were going to start at 7:30.
If I'd remembered. We did talk about that last week.
It was a bit short notice, yeah. So sorry to anyone I'm annoying with my. I could turn that up. Oh no, that makes it even worse. Oh God, look at that. Oh no, it makes it better, kind of weirdly. Right. Anyway, you talk away while I just try and fix my green screen. So yeah, what was I talking about? Trump.
We were talking about Trump.
Pekka is being given. That's better. That's much better. Right. I'm going to stick with that. Pekka has been. Sorry about this, everyone in the chat. Pekka has been given his testimony, and like on the first day, he sort of nodded to Trump, and he was like, "Yeah, hey man, little wave, little, how you doing?" But he's absolutely gone to town on the stand, basically saying this whole catch and kill thing about the 3 stories. There was one to a doorman at one of Trump's hotels who was paid $30,000 about a story about Trump's illegitimate children. There was a Stormy Daniels story, and there was another model who Trump is alleged to have an affair with, who was also paid to keep her gob shut. And they ran it through what they call the catch and kill thing, which was basically they paid these people for their exclusive stories and then didn't publish the stories because it would have interfered in the election case. And actually doing that, I don't think would have been illegal, just doing a catch and kill thing. But because it was in the middle of an election, that's what made it illegal, because it's basically what Nixon did when he paid off the burglars to keep quiet.
It's also the campaign finance funds as well. Like, where did Trump get the money to pay for these? This hush money, essentially. So it's where did that money come from, and that's going to be something that's probably we'll find out during this trial.
Yes. So anyway, Pekka's done him no favors today on the stand. From what I've read, he's basically said, yeah, the catch and kill thing, which he's always denied or said no comment about before. He just said, yeah, it was real, and we did it with these 3 people. So there you go. That's the prosecution's half their job's done already. You're only 2 days in.
Yeah. I mean, who knows? Maybe we'll find out who Trump's like secret love children are. Had them with.
The secret love, God. Tommy's saying I seem a little quiet compared with Ollie, so I'm just going to turn my gain up a little bit. My Gloria gainer. You're a tad quiet, Graham, but it's audible. I'll turn my gain up a lot. Right, is that better? Let me know in the chat.
You're louder for me now.
Sorry, I'm
you're louder for me now.
Yeah, hope so. The money wasn't declared properly, likely a campaign financing violation. So that's what's going to get done for. But so there's that. There's Keri Lake with her voting machine thing that she took to the Supreme Court to try and stop them having voting machines in the next election, and they didn't even look at it. And then finally, there's this Marjorie Taylor Green thing, which is she went absolutely ballistic over the weekend over the fact that the US House of Representatives approved finally the aid package, the military aid package of $61 billion to Ukraine. Desperately needed. About time. And
this, what's worse about this is the way that this has been passed, this triple aid package of going from like, we're going to pass like 3 at once from Ukraine, Taiwan, and Israel. This was proposed 6 months ago.
Yeah.
They could have passed this 6 months ago. And yet, because there has been this tiny minority, because Mike Johnson has been terrified to put this through to a vote, which he finally did. And remember, just a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about how our MGT or Marjorie Taylor Green has now put forward, or at least presented to the Senate, a bill that could unseat him.
Yeah.
That could happen at any moment, and she is angry. So that may be something that happens this week. But if that happens...
Yeah. But even the Murdoch press is going after her, calling her Moscow Marjorie. And that name's going to stick. I think Moscow Marge sounds better because it's just a little bit more short and sweet.
Even
you know
Fox News went after her.
Yeah.
Like, even Fox News. When Fox News goes after like a conservative, you know that they are doing something really, really dumb.
And Trump didn't come out to bat for her, which needs to be mentioned. He didn't talk about the aid package at all. And, he was hoping to hold, well, not the aid package, but the southern border bill. He was hoping to use that as a way of getting back into power in the upcoming election. One Angry Pagan, thank you very, very much for the super chat. First super chat of this time. on GEOSCOPE. I'm sure Trump has been threatened with jail if he continues to rant about the judge, prosecutors, etc. on social media. Oh, thank you. Thank you. I've just been handed a flask of tea. Yay. Oh. Thank you. Sorry, might that trip him up too. So this morning, like I say, it's been a short day in court with Trump, but this morning they spent a couple of hours going through all of the times that he's violated the gag order that the judges put in, going after the judge's daughter, going after various people involved in the case. And the judge has decided not to make a decision yet. That was the decision made.
I believe it would be perjury. I think it would be. Is he going to perjure himself, or is that contempt of court? I can't remember now. It's one of those two.
It's contempt of court,
yeah.
But it only comes with like $1,000 fine for each offence, which isn't that big. But
not a lot, yeah.
It could build up to a custodial sentence if he doesn't stop doing it. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't really matter that he can afford $1,000. I mean, I think he made an extra $1 billion today on his Truth Social floating. I think I read that normally the retail to price index between for a company that's being publicly floated, so you make shares in it, is like the value of the shares is usually around 10 times the actual retail, right? For Trump's social, it's something like 12,000 times, 12,000 times more than it's actually worth, and it's like it's never made money. It never can make money.
Massively overvalued it. Did you see? They also put out a stock thing saying, "Oh yeah, we don't expect to make money for like the next 2 or 3 years."
Yes.
And you're like, then why is your stock value so high?
Yeah, but Trump's just been issued millions more shares, and because they kept above the value of $18.50 or whatever each. So he's quids in. Yep. And the people who are investing in this bubble are just, I don't know, a fool and their money. I soon parted. Thank you very much to Craven Beer there for this excellent super chat, which says, Trump wasn't asleep. It's fake snooze.
Oh,
love it. Michael says it's contempt, but there's a motion gone in now to jail him for 3 days, as he did it last night, claiming the jury being out against him. So there you go. Yeah, he could get a custodial sentence if he doesn't shut up. And then Mike says if a broadcaster decides to do a highlight show, they should use 10-year-old actors. I don't really understand that. You mean of the trial?
Yeah. Yes. What did they used to do that on? There was something that did that, and they'd
recreate
children. They got children to recreate a trial.
No, that was Bugsy Malone, mate. You're thinking of Bugsy Malone.
I think I'm sure
I've got children to recreate a trial. Oh, maybe
it might have been like on Screen Wipe, I think.
Or it might have been like John Oliver. Sounds like something that he would do. Like, because he had dogs. He had the Supreme Court, but they were dogs, which always was brilliant. And Colin says, excellent coverage of Donald Trump and no NBA coverage. Oh, disgraceful. And Mike says, why has no US broadcaster produced a dramatized highlight show of each day in court? The transcript of the proceedings are released each day. Do you know what I always liked? Did you ever watch Rick and Morty, the TV show? Yeah. Did you ever hear that the actor who used to do the voices for Rick and Morty?
He did.
Got mid on. He did a transcript from a court in like Georgia or somewhere. If you haven't heard it, oh my God, he does it in the Rick and Morty voices, but it's a transcript from a real court case. It is absolutely freaking hilarious.
Like, right, you really want to do this? Right. A year, okay, and he still keeps calling it. It just goes up and up and up.
Yeah. The punishment keeps going up and up as he keeps talking. Will you shut up? 6 months, 9 months, a year. And he keeps talking. Will you shut up? But I think that's kind of what's going to happen with Trump in this trial, because he's going to continue to rail against it.
Can't keep his mouth shut.
The mad thing is, this is like the least of his legal worries, really. It's the least important of all of his crimes, but it's probably the only one he'll end up going down for,
Because I think this one is just going to be another fine. I think as far as I'm aware, the penalty for this is going to be some sort of fine. So it's going to be yet another fine he's going to have to pay. The one that is going to carry the jail time is the Georgia one. and that's still the one that I'm very much interested.
Ollie,
to see.
This is a criminal case, and his former lawyer Michael Cohen has already gone to jail for this. So he's already gone through a court process of going, that was a wrong thing you did there, Michael. So he's gone to jail for it. Trump could get a custodial sentence for this, and and this one and the Georgia one are both state trials and not federal trials. The documents one and the what's the other one? The insurrection, the January 6th ones are federal.
Threatening the Georgia election officials.
So he or a future Republican president could pardon him, or he could pardon himself for the federal crimes, but they can't pardon him for the state crimes. So if he is in jail for what happened in Georgia, brilliant. But then, those trials are probably just going to get put off until he's president again. So that doesn't really help much. But
I'm getting more confident that he's not going to win, but I'm still worried that he's. I'm
terrified that he's still going to win. One Angry Pagan, thank you very much for the £2 super chat. At least Marjorie Taylor Green wasn't waving Hunter Biden's dick pic around this time. Like she's just a freak.
Do you know what she was waving around though?
Oh God, what was she waving around? The Russian flag.
Oh well, she might as well have been. She might as well have been. She wanted to put some very, very interesting amendments into the Ukraine aid bill.
Yeah.
Shall we say?
Yeah.
So the first one was that if this aid bill is passed, that America has to leave NATO.
Wow.
So, deliberately at that point trying to not get this bill to pass. Luckily, like I say, these amendments did not get accepted, so none of these actually went into the final thing.
Yeah.
One of them was, because in her past she was a 9/11 truther, and she was actually a laser truther that
Jewish space lasers.
Yeah, the Twin Towers were taken down by space lasers.
Yeah. Seems plausible.
So that was one thing she did. She put an amendment into this that if they pass this bill, America has to decommission its space-based laser weaponry.
Wow. So, elected representatives there. But I mean, we had Liz Truss, who last week was going around trying to sell her book upside down and back to front.
Upside down, back to front.
And she was our prime minister. At least Marjorie Taylor Greene's only just like a senator, not even a senator, a member of the House of Representatives.
Oh, I think she'll try. I think she'll try in the future to run.
Do you think she'll run as Trump's vice?
Maybe. There's a lot of rumors going around when you look at people sort of cover American politics, all very much saying the same thing, that Trump might try and get a female VP to try and deal with this, the abortion, saying, "Oh, look, I'm pro-abortion," and sort of hand it off.
Get Keri Lake, who said that the Arizona, the law from 1862, before Arizona was a state, which has now banned abortion effectively across the state, was a great thing. Then she said it was a terrible thing, and today she said it was a great thing again.
Yeah,
she was flip-flop back.
Yeah, she's one of the potentials. They were also talking about Nikki Haley potentially, but I don't think Nikki Haley would do it, considering how anti-Trump she was during the race.
I was kind of hoping that Trump would go down and basically she would get the nomination, and then we wouldn't have to deal with the terror that Trump could get another 4 years. Because I know she's awful. I know she's an awful person, but like Trump's on a whole nother level he is an existential crisis. The man is an existential crisis for the planet, and he'd be the worst possible person to have in charge at the worst possible time. And Nikki Haley, I don't like her, but at least she's got some kind of intelligence.
Nikki Haley is like what Republicans used to be like.
Yeah. I still don't want them to win. Want them to win, but obviously, I'll take any. I'll take Mike Pence over Trump. Genuinely, I would. I know it sounds ridiculous because Mike Pence is an idiot and he's a Christian fundamentalist, but he doesn't have the charisma of Trump. He can't make people do the things that Trump can make them do. But Do you know how many people were outside the courthouse this morning protesting against Trump in jail? Trump in court.
Not a lot, or a lot.
No one. There was no one there.
No one there.
There might have been 2 people max. There was just nobody there. Normally they have people holding signs and Trump is my leader and all that. They weren't there today. So I don't know whether they've had all their holiday, because Americans don't get much holiday.
Yeah.
Do you know they don't get maternity leave or Boxing Day? Americans don't have Boxing Day. It's like, right, Christmas is done, back to work. America. Puninator, thank you very much for the £5 super chat. With Cameron's visit to the USA about the aid, it's safe to say he's been more successful as Foreign Secretary than he was as PM. Also, where's the bowler hat, man? Which is Puninator's favourite joke. Where's your bowler hat, Ollie?
It's out of reach, as always. But no, you're right. I've said this before on my channel in my videos. He has been a far more successful foreign secretary than PM, and it's hilarious because he's making the rest of the cabinet just look absolutely incompetent, and it's hilarious to see. To see this is how like a grown up like operates as a minister. Yeah, you guys are all there, sort of playing in the kiddie pool, in the ball pool. And, what are you doing?
Well, they're passing legislation which the Home Secretary once called batshit, and the Deputy Foreign Minister once said wouldn't work.
Ah, yes, the Rwanda legislation.
Wow. Wowzers, trousers. Anyway, that's not our remit tonight, because obviously we're talking about international news. So let's move on to the next news story that you want to talk about. Actually, this is on the domestic. Actually, this is about Labour's foreign policy progressive realism. So I'm going to just drop a link into the chat as we're talking about it. If you want to have a look at this, if you can do 2 things at once on your phone. I don't know if you can. Sorry, that sounded really patronising. It's just that YouTube doesn't let you continues to watch the video while playing Pokemon Go, which really annoys me. Because if it's a video on the BBC, you can keep watching it. You just have it in the top of the. You can't do other stuff while you're watching, unless you pay £7 a month to. Which is like well, I think that's what we pay for Disney Plus. I'm not paying that for bloody YouTube.
Cheaper actually. Disney Plus is $5.99 a month, I think.
Is it? Oh my God, YouTube! So I think maybe they should do a deal for people who make content and say, and do you know what? You're going to get the YouTube Premium that you keep trying to force on everyone. If they press the wrong thing as they're going into YouTube, do you want YouTube? No, we don't.
No one wants it.
No, just become a member of this channel instead, because then you're directly helping us. Anyway, just to go back into the chat for the moment, did they set all of themselves on fire, which is why we couldn't see them today? Oh God, yeah, that was horrific.
Yes, someone did do that, didn't they?
Set himself on fire.
Yeah.
Well, he was anti-Trump and he was anti-Biden. He thought they were all together trying to herald in the apocalypse or something. The common denominator in all our ours and US politics as the main contenders are in it for their own prestige, hopefully not Starmer, said Fraser. Yes, I partly agree with that sentiment. Marge started out shouting into AOC's office letterbox, deranged. Doesn't even start to describe. Did she do that?
Yep, she did that.
What, she shouted into the letterbox?
Yep, there's a full video of her going to confront AOC.
Oh my God!
But that is a thing that she did. Not only just to AOC, but she did it to what's her face now? Alida Tlaib, I think her name is, another one of the progressives. Yeah. That is out there. But she's done this to a lot of people. It's what she used to do before, becoming a congresswoman.
Yeah. We're getting it's $7.99 a month, YouTube Premium. But the Ginge Stitcher was sick of watching videos, which is sick of watching adverts, which I understand. But now you can watch this while doing something else on your phone. I don't know, Pornhub or something. Anyway, let's talk about David Lammy's piece that he wrote for the Guardian newspaper. I've just put the link in there, and this is about Labour's foreign policy. So just talk us through this for a little bit, Ollie.
So what we got here was David Lammy talking about, unfortunately, not anything policy-wise beyond the fact that, we're going to continue to support Ukraine. and we're going to sort of make sure, or at least go for peace in the Middle East. So when it came to sort of policy, very, very light what he was saying about it. But if you take what he's saying sort of at face value, that we're going to go for what he calls progressive realism, that we are going to go for having progressive values being in the Foreign Office, but we are going to go and we are going to set ourselves realistic values of things that we can achieve. We're going to sort of turn around and say, we aren't this British Empire that we used to be. This is what we are now. We are a lot smaller, mid-sized European nation, and that in itself is going to be a big transformation for UK foreign policy, because it's what we have needed for the longest time. So that by itself is going to be a very, very big sea change when Labour comes into power, with David Lammy acting like that. And what's going to be interesting is to see what policy he is going to pursue. So we're probably going to have to wait for the manifesto, but then we're also going to have to see how sort of Lammy acts when he's, the foreign secretary himself. So it's going to be very interesting to see sort of how he acts and how he takes that. And it is a very sort of interesting look into someone who is going to be our future foreign secretary.
I really like David Lammy. I've got to say, my partner used to work in statistics in the House of Commons, and she worked with David Lammy in the last Labour government, and she said he's absolutely brilliant for a politician. He really does know his stuff, and he takes his job very seriously. One of the things that's mentioned in the article is this, which I completely forgot, which was this anti-OPEC thing. So the OPEC countries are the oil producing countries of the world, and they're basically a cartel who make sure that your petrol costs £1.50 a litre, as it does right now. And they want to create an anti-OPEC dedicated to renewable energy, and prospective countries, people are countries too. No, prospective countries that might want to join include Denmark, the Netherlands, Austria, Portugal, Costa Rica, and Kenya. And I think this would be the start of something absolutely brilliant, because I'm making a video at the moment, actually, which I'll hopefully put out this week, on just the madness that is getting the energy into your car. There's two ways of doing it, Ollie. There's one, you plug it in and it's transported at the speed of light from its source, which is hopefully a wind turbine. Or you literally dig it out the ground under the sea from thousands of miles away, and then get it and refine it, and then, oh my God, like if you go through each step of that process compared with pushing it down a wire at the speed of light, it's like, I need energy to make my vehicle move. There's two ways of doing it at the moment. But unfortunately, the Tory government aren't going to subsidise electric cars, so they're prohibitively expensive.
I'm very looking forward to that. I think that sets a very, very good sort of prospect going forward as well, because he also talked about mirroring sort of industrial strategy and sort of working at what the UK is good at and playing to that strength. And then when we are sort of not good at something, partnering with other countries to work together to achieve that. So that in itself, I think, sets a very, very good sort of pace going forward. For a whole range of different things.
And we've also got in there as well, he talks about, this is David Lammy's article, he talks about partnerships with the global south rather than lectures on hypocrisy, which is something that I'm really on board with. I don't want to see, I'm really, as mad as this sounds, I'm really on Rory Stewart's side on this. Rory Stewart has travelled a lot. Like me, he's seen real poverty, real, absolute, people don't have anything. And he looks at that and he says the best way to deal with this isn't by, propping up these governments, or, trying to mess around with elections in other countries, but it's actually just to give people money, fund them, give them money to pursue their business, to do, to trade more and to make more and to do all that kind of stuff. And it's so important that we do that, because it's so unfair the way that we have this system, that we basically take these raw materials from developing nations and we just give nothing back.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of good stuff to be had there. And of course, it just means for us this is future content. So it's going to be very interesting, I think, looking at this like as it is now, to see how David Lammy has sort of performed as Foreign Secretary, say in what will the next election be? What, 2030?
2029.
Yeah, 2029.
Yeah.
So that'll be interesting to sort of look back on, see this is what David Lammy put out before he was going to be Foreign Secretary, and this is how he acted when he was Foreign Secretary. Did he live up to the standards and the ideals that he put forward? So this is sort of how we, I think, judge Lammy sort of going forward. And honestly, it's an incredible platform, incredible starting point for him to go forward on from there. So I'm looking forward to see what he does from here.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. I think it's a really positive step, and I like the fact that Labour, it is a little bit like, but there's some stuff in there that's really good. I put the link into the chat, so if everyone wants to have a look at that in a bit. We're going to wind up, by the way, at 8:30 tonight, because we want you all to be able to go over and watch our friend Maximilian on his channel, because obviously
tell him we said hi.
Say Graham and Ollie say hi. But yeah, so we've got about 20 minutes left. So if you do want us to talk about anything in particular, please put it in the chat now, so we can get to it before we leave, because we've got a few more things to go through first. But someone did point out that there was the mayoral debate on LBC earlier tonight. I don't know if anyone listened to it, but oh my God. You know how Susan Hall is a car crash at the best of times?
Was she an absolute disaster?
Oh, mate,
train crash.
It was, yeah. It was two space rockets crashing into each other. It was pretty spectacular.
I am so glad. I haven't watched it, but I've got it lined up for me to watch later on, and I'm just like,
I'll give you a little preview. Then there was a bit where you go to, I think it was Tom Swarbrick who was who was presenting. He said to Susan Hall, so free school meals, you're for them or against them? He says, well, I'm for them because I think that everyone should get some food. And he said, oh, but last week you said that you were against them and there's no such thing as a free lunch. Oh yeah, but that was last week. And he goes, oh, if you changed your mind. And she's like, no, I've been consistent. I've said that I will keep it. Even though I don't agree with the policy, I will keep that policy. And Sadiq Khan's like, well, I'm going to expand it to secondary schools. And she's like, well, that's a thing you can do. Oh my God. And then there was a bit where Tom Swarbrick was reading out the horrific tweets that she had put out or that she had liked or that she had retweeted, and calling London, Londonistan and all this kind of stuff, dog whistle Islamophobia against a Muslim mayor. And Sadiq Khan said, I think she's the most dangerous. I've done 3 council elections, 3 elections in Parliament, and it's my 3rd mayoral contest, and she is the most dangerous candidate I've ever been up against.
I hope he wins by like an absolute landslide. I hope he wins by 78% or something.
Do you know what I think's really sad though? They've taken away the alternative vote system. So you used to do 1, 2, 3.
Oh, yes,
now you just put an X where you want it, and which is, I mean, it means that you can't vote for Count Bin Face number 1 and then Sadiq Khan number 2, basically, which I think is really sad for Sadiq Khan and for Count Bin Face.
Yeah,
I do like the idea of him renaming London Bridge the Phoebe Waller Bridge. Making croissants free.
What a get that would be if we could ever have Count Bin Face on like Labour Social.
I'll try it. I think I know someone who knows someone. Okay, so moving on to the next topic. Sorry, I do have a list here. Elon Musk versus Australia. So let's get into this. What's happened with Elon Musk? Who's he fighting against?
So you may remember when Elon Musk took over Twitter and he was like, this is going to be free speech forever, free speech for everyone. Except after he took over, we found out that he was bowing to people from India and other sort of very authoritarian countries, complying with them taking away Twitter accounts from various different people. Now, this isn't sort of just Australia, also Brazil as well. Brazil has gone through the very same thing as well, where they have asked him to sort of take down dangerous accounts. and he's basically refused, saying, I am not going to do this. He hasn't complied with a judge who ordered him to do this. So, he's going to be in trouble in Brazil very soon. And in Australia very recently, unfortunately, there was an attack in a church, and someone filmed it, and they've been spreading this around on Twitter.
And he's refused to take it down.
And refused to take it down.
What a monster.
The Prime Minister of Australia has come out and said, Elon Musk keeps on sort of breaking the law in this way. And, he's not above it, and he needs to start following it. And this has happened and keeps on happening time and time again. Europe is in the midst at the moment of investigating Twitter.
Why can't these billionaires just be a decent person? Like one day, just one day, can they just wake up, splash the face with cold water and look at themselves in the mirror and say, do you know what? I'm not going to be a cunt today. Why can't just once? My God.
The thing for me, because I obviously come from working in marketing, and for the longest time we have seen all the social media companies, whenever sort of something like this has happened, they've sort of complied just to make sure that regulation doesn't end up coming in. And what has ended up happening, or what I think is going to end up happening now, is that Elon Musk doing this is going to bring forward a ton of different social media regulation, not only potentially in the EU, but around the world. And it's going to be because of Elon Musk.
So at the moment, there's a law in America that states that if someone puts something libelous on your platform and you get rid of it in good time, you can't be done for libel, even though you technically published that libel by allowing them to write that thing on there. It's been around since the mid-90s, like when we were using user groups and things. But now it's got prevalence because people are putting out fake news, lies, libel, slander, defamation on social media networks, and there's nothing the law in America at the moment can do about it. And the thing is, taking that law away, just dismantling that law, will destroy the internet as we know it. So it's a difficult balancing act. But no, there needs to be what I think needs to be is you need to clamp down on anonymous people putting stuff online. You've got to have an account that can somehow be traced back to you. That would help. But also, you take responsibility for what you put online. It's what you're putting out there into the public sphere. And I think people should take responsibility for that. And then obviously you've got to think about people who might not want their identity out online because they're part of a marginalized group or a group that often gets attacked. And you can understand why some people might want to go under a pseudonym. So you have to make exceptions for that kind of thing.
Yep.
But the main thing I think we need to see is that there is a time limit for anything that goes up that is potentially contentious, and these networks have got 5 minutes, and if it's not taken down in that 5 minutes, they can be sued by any country that tweet was seen in. Do you know what I mean? I mean, how much better will their regulation be if they do that? And don't forget, we've got AI now, so it's not like you need millions of people to check every tweet.
That's true, but that's going to be a big undertaking. That's going to be a very big undertaking for social media companies to do.
Yeah. Oh well, they'll earn a slightly less of the 97 billion pound they earn a year. They'll only earn 96. Because they'll have to spend a billion. But it's not just, you think about social media and you think about America and the UK and Europe, but in places like Myanmar, people have been putting stuff up on Facebook, which has led to the deaths of Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar. And the problem with Facebook there is they didn't have enough translators to check what people were putting on. So they had the language option, so you could use Facebook in the language that they speak in Myanmar, but which is lovely, by the way. The letters are little curls. I love it. It's beautiful. It's such a lovely looking alphabet. Anyway, but that's not the point. The point is that people were writing in this language that they just didn't have the moderators to cover, and people died as a result. The same as the lunatics getting on the radio in Rwanda in 1994 and telling everyone to kill the cockroaches, as they called the Tutsis back then. So I mean, there are things that can be done. But it's going to take a bit of an effort and a bit of an international community to come together and decide things. But when's that happened in the last 25 years?
Yeah, well, yeah. Always depends when these different things happens, but we'll see. I do think there's going to be a lot of push very, very in the near future to really tackle AI. Yeah. I can't see AI remaining so unregulated as it is, especially this year when you've got a lot of elections going on. I think you're going to get a lot of stories after these elections finding out all about like AI generated images or like voice clips or whatever. I think that's going to be a big issue.
The thing is, though, right? I've got two thoughts on this. First of all, I think that AI is just so obvious. Like I keep seeing it now on Facebook. You know, people just sharing stuff, going, "How sweet!" It's like an African child has made something creative, and I'm like, that's so fake because it looks airbrushed. It just does not look real. The light doesn't work. Like, and I think that maybe my grounding with sort of filmmaking has put me in a mental mind state where I can go, that's CGI. Do you know what I mean? That's not practical effect. That's not real. It's easy to spot if you know what you're looking for. But the other thing is that Trump's actually helped us a little bit here because he's primed everyone for fake news. He's taken real things that actually happened, that people actually saw, like the invasion of the Congress building, the Capitol building on January the 6th, 2021. People saw that happen. And he said it didn't happen.
Yep.
And so he's primed people to not believe the evidence of their own eyes and ears, which might actually help us in a weird way because people will be on guard and they'll go, okay, well, this audio clip. I'm gonna not believe it until it's been proven to be real.
Did you see a couple of weeks ago the Obama AI? That to me, I think showed how scary that could be. Because that fooled me initially. I was like, oh my, that's actually quite terrifying. Now, it's not 100% perfect.
Was he shagging a bunny rabbit?
Oh, no, it was just someone had AI-generated Obama saying something at the end, saying, oh, by the way, I'm an AI. And when I first saw it, I was like, oh, okay. But then you look at it closer, that's where you see the telltale AI signs.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot of people that could very easily fall for that stuff. Very easily fall for that stuff if you're not looking for it.
But I mean, I think that this is natural progression of the internet. The internet is an infinite bullshit machine. From the first days of Alta Vista, people setting up their own websites and stuff and just pumping out whatever they wanted. This whole era of conspiracy theories and misinformation basically was born with the internet. We never had as many conspiracy theories back then as we do now. And they were seen as kind of like harmless. We had the X-Files, we had conspiracy theory with Mel Gibson, that well-known fighter for the rights of minorities, and definitely not a horrific wife beater in any way. It was seen as something that was kind of like funny and on the fringe, but now it's gone mainstream when you have a conspiracy theorist who became president of the United States of America,
or in Congress, spreading insane.
Yeah, but I think people have been primed for it because they're used to now, not believing everything they read on their uncle's Facebook feed, and they don't necessarily believe everything they see on a website or on a YouTube video.
Firstly, though, I also think it makes it harder to debunk it as well, because then it's like if something gets spread like unofficially, and then let's say the BBC comes out and says, "Oh, actually, that's fake." There'll be a fair few amount of people that might go, "That might be fake."
Well, yeah, it might be the converse of that. It might be just really hard to prove something's real.
Yeah,
but we've already got that problem, as I say. Like people saw September the 11th happen. They saw it happen and then went, "Oh no, it wasn't planes. It was Jewish space lasers." I said, "Well, what about the planes you saw going into the building?" "Oh no, it wasn't them. They were holograms." It's terrifying. 1984 for territory. Thank you very much to Puninator again for the super chat. Thank you very much. I think Labour's manifesto might have a line about upkeeping electoral democracy for the GE to switch mayoral systems back to single transferable vote. This could be a proportional representation push. PR push. I mean, it could be public relations. It could be press reform. Do you know what? I'm all for better PR.
Yeah. Let's get Leveson.
Whatever it stands for. I just want more of it. Yeah. Better. Get better at it, Labour. And finally, we've got one last story to go. We've got 5 minutes before we start.
Yeah, I can't believe this hasn't been covered more.
cutting into Max's time. So take it away with the Russian spy bombing plot in Germany.
Yeah, I cannot believe this hasn't been covered more, because this has only been covered, from what I have seen, in the Financial Times and DW, which honestly kind of surprising given the fact that you've got Russian spies arrested for potentially bombing German industry where things are being produced for the Ukraine war, and potentially bombing German military bases and American military bases because Ukrainian troops are being trained there. That's worrying, because now it makes you wonder, if they're in Germany, where else could they be? That to me is incredibly worrying. And then, of course, you've got a situation that could arise. What if they succeed in one of these bombing plots and then they get caught?
Yeah.
This to me is very, very worrying on a lot of scales, because this is definitely, to me, an escalation from Russia. This goes to show you that they are starting to view neutral countries, shall we say, in this regard, as potential targets, or at least legitimate targets to go and, in this case, sabotage. And I can't believe this hasn't gotten more attention than it hasn't, because to me this is quite a big news story that they went out and did this.
Yeah,
a big news story.
Yeah. Wow. We've got Captain Bart Roberts there. Thank you very much for the super chat, Captain. Has anyone tried getting ChatGPT to write a joke? Yes, I just did. Why did Anakin Skywalker cross the road? To get to the dark side. Yeah, don't give up the day job, ChatGPT. So do you think Russia's going to trigger World War III then? Do you think that's their plan? That could be good for business.
I don't know what they're going to trigger, but I think, to me, they are now getting desperate.
Yeah.
I think they're getting very desperate, and then the question then becomes, what should our response be? And I think you are starting to see stuff happen at the moment. Poland is talking about extending its air interceptor cover, because some of the Russian missiles have been sort of crossing into Polish airspace. They've been talking about extending that so they can intercept them earlier. Yeah. Rishi Sunak was in Poland just yesterday, I think it was, or today. He announced a further aid package to go to Ukraine as well, and he's offered a RAF squadron to be stationed in Ukraine to sort of help out with that as well. So there's a clear line here of there is I think a very dangerous escalation point, and then it's a question of what's the incident, how big does it escalate from that, and then where do we go from there?
NATO has said surely this could force NATO to get more hands on, which I think it is.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to end up happening. I think that is going to have to happen now.
I agree.
And I'm kind of shocked there hasn't been more of an international response from this as well. But maybe at the moment, this is all being very close to their chest. And Blue Badger 88, isn't this an act of war? Yes, technically it is. Yeah, technically it is an act of war
against a NATO signatory. So yeah. I mean, I would like to go to sleep. I'd like to go to bed, I should say, less stressed. And I'm really stressed at the moment about the state of this country, the state of America, like with Trump, just the chances of him. I mean, he is the presumptive Republican nominee for the president of the United States of America, the most powerful post in the world. And he's currently on trial because he paid hush money to a porn star that he was porking while his wife was at home, pregnant with his child. Now, I asked this to most people who support Trump. Would you support him if he was a black man doing exactly the same thing? And he had 5 children to 3 different women. Would you? And you say that about Boris Johnson as well. And would you support a man who was this, much of a deadbeat dad, let's say? And they'll say no.
Find out in November.
Yeah. But with everything that's happened in the last, let's say, 10, 15 years in terms of foreign policy, Brexit and Trump getting in, and it's had Vladimir Putin's fingerprints all over it. And I think he is the biggest menace this world has faced since Stalin.
I think we need to really start taking Russia seriously and sort of very, very much viewing it for what it is. It's a threat to all of Europe, because I think
it's a threat to the world.
Depending on how Ukraine goes, I think his next target is going to be Moldova.
Yeah, and also
I think the signs are all there for it.
Yeah,
Moldova
absolutely. He wants Transnistria, doesn't he? He wants a land bridge through Ukraine, through Odessa into Transnistria.
Because they are obsessed with Odessa.
Anyway, we're going to wrap it up there because apparently Max has already pressed the live button, so you're going to have to watch the first couple of minutes on 1.5 speed to catch up. But yeah, we'll try and finish a little bit earlier next week because we'll start at actually 7:30 rather than 7:40.
Can we raid Max? Have we got that capability to?
No, I think we can raid on. Let's put it in the bath. I think you can raid on Twitch. I don't know if you can do raids on this, but if you're watching us now live, please head over to Maximilian Robespierre's channel as soon as we go off air and say hello from us, from Ollie and Graham. So Ollie and Graham sent us here. Get in Max's good books. But yeah, Ollie, thank you so much for joining me this week, and thank you to everyone who dropped into the chat and the super chat. Everyone watching, I'll be back in the morning at 9:30 with Morning Brew, and also it's Prime Minister's Questions tomorrow, so if you can stomach it, I'll be there if you'll be there. But we'll try and make light of it. And thanks to everyone in the chat, and hello to Daily Blase who stayed up, and can I recommend Daily Blase's channel, also Countdown to Power's channel, and also Ollie's channel, Bowler Hat Man. So please subscribe to all that. And also,
I put a link in chat, so people, that will take you straight to Max's channel. So go tell them we said hi.
Good stuff. All right, and until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye.
Bye.